Yes, hello everyone, welcome to The Last Word, and it's live. Yes, we do have Bruno in the middle, and he has scored. Welcome everybody to The Last Word live. You're probably thinking, why is it live? It means we can get the video out a lot more quicker. I've literally done the match reaction, got myself home, worked on this stream of all the graphics that are coming up. So we are doing it live. So we interact with you. So get your comments in the live chat. We'll read them out at the halfway stage, the full-time stage, and at the very end as well. So we'll read them out 3 times. So do get your comments coming. If you drop us a massive like, that'd be wonderful. If you listen on the audio as this goes out with a podcast as well, that'd be absolutely fantastic as well. If you can give us 5 stars. But yes, welcome everybody to The Last Word live. Yes, as I was saying. So absolutely stunning, beautiful day at St. James's Park. We all thinking, right, this is the big one. It's against Chelsea. What will Newcastle come up with today? We've got a good record at home. We've beat Chelsea early on the season in the cup. Not in the. We'll not talk about the league down Stamford Bridge because we'll not talk about that. But we've got a good record recently at home at St. James's Park against Chelsea. So, as I say, blistering nice day. We're seeing obviously Aston Villa win the previous day and Man City surprisingly draw against Southampton. So if Newcastle could go on and get a win, it's one step closer to Champions League qualification because you're wiping out more or less your rival if you were to pick up 3 points a day. So very much looking forward to today's game. We have another video coming up later on. We've got the scoring the players is coming very, very shortly in the next couple of hours. So stay tuned for that. And over on NFTV Extra with Sister Channel, you've got a match blog coming over there as well. And they've already had my match reaction and Joe's reaction already has gone out on the channel. So as you can see, fans are coming at the ground there. Lovely stuff. Right. So it was a question of what side will Chelsea put out, because this was a weird kickoff time one. Let's be honest, it was Sunday, it's 12 o'clock, and it's like, I felt dead weird because I left here about 10:40 because I like to be in about an hour before the game. I'm like, this feels weird. I got a tune game 10:40 in the morning, and especially home game, not an away day. But because Chelsea obviously are in the final of the Conference League, which they should be winning that. I mean, any English team that enters that, whether it's Brighton or Bournemouth, whoever it is next season, they should be winning that cup competition because it's effectively low end championship competition side. Really, the level of it, it's tier 2 bottom end. But anyways, TNT rather. BT, whatever you want to call them, had coverage of the game. Hence why we're having a really strange kickoff time because it was going to be the Saturday, but obviously they made the final. So there you go. And that's why we are playing in a bizarre 12 o'clock. And there's still games going on as we speak. The Arsenal-Liverpool game, which we'll touch upon a little bit later. Let's get the lineup that Eddie Howe went with. The 2 big surprises, of course, was Kieran Trippier not being risked. There is some speculation, and he'll also miss the next 2 games, but I must stress that is just speculation. So Newcastle, what would it go with? Obviously, Joe Willock is out as well. But Eddie Howe went with wing-backs. Now, I was driving in and TalkSport said it was going to be a flat back 4. They've got that horribly wrong, and that Gordon was being the 10. Saint-Maximin said that. Got that wrong, didn't he? Eddie Howe went with wing-backs. Nick Pope and goal. Jacob Murphy's played there for England in the 21s. He's occasionally, once or twice as Newcastle player, started there. And then the 3 centre-backs of Fabian Schär, Sven Botman and Dan Burn. Obviously, Botman back. I thought Botman was absolutely brilliant today, actually. We'll come on to the player performances a little bit later. Dan Burn, Tino Livramento, left wing-back. And then the 2 in midfield. I looked at that and thought, that's a lot of legwork for Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes against Chelsea's 3. Can they manage it? And then Anthony Gordon and then Barnes Barnes was given more of a free role just behind Isak more than what Gordon was. And obviously on the substitutes, you had Martin Dubravka, John Ruddy, Emil Kraft, Jamal Lascelles. Good to see Lascelles back. He got a nice reception of the crowd whilst he was warming up. Lewis Miley, Sean Longstaff, Callum Wilson, Will Asula and Sean Neve back on the bench once more. Great. Okay, so that's your starting 11. Hopefully there's not too many more injuries because we are almost there after the winter day, but we've got Arsenal next, Everton next. You don't want any more injuries coming in because they're creeping up a little bit again, aren't they? We've got 3 or 4 that would probably start, in all honesty. But Newcastle got off to an absolute flying start. I've looked at it back. This is the benefit of doing the Last Word live. I've looked at it back now because normally when you're coming out of St. James's Park, I don't get to see the replay. So I'm thinking, right, who crossed it. And you'll see on Scoring the Players, because I didn't mention that Jacob Murphy got the assist, whether he meant it for Tonali or not, who knows. But obviously Tonali scores and he kind of side foots it into the bottom of the ground, and then it goes over Sanchez and Newcastle, and this is the way end at the opposite end, and the Gallagher as the home end got absolutely nuts as Tonali puts Newcastle 1-0 after what was it? 2 minutes? I don't even think it was 2 minutes. It was definitely under 2 minutes, and obviously Chelsea had a brief chance with a corner right from the kickoff, and obviously we've gone to the other end. Anthony Gordon trying to claim a penalty, and then obviously goes to Jacob Murphy on that right hand side. He puts a low cross in, and Tonali gets on the end of it. He kind of punches it into the bottom. Well, I say punch, you know what I mean. Foots it in the bottom, and again's in. And Newcastle are off to a fantastic start, 1-0 up already. Which is a great start by the lads. And yeah, so can we go on and then maybe go on and get a second one potentially then? Because I thought the first half we were playing well. We had a lot of the ball, as my cat wants to get in the way, had a lot of the ball. But for me, there wasn't enough clear-cut chances, I don't feel, that would test Sanchez enough. I'll talk about the red card in a minute. But we didn't create enough, I don't feel. The game was niggly, wasn't it? There was a lot of stop-starts happening during the game over and over. A lot of coming togethers and a lot of claims. And Newcastle crowd, obviously, you've got to take your home crowd advantage. Of course you have to. But I didn't think that we're getting much from the referee, in particular first half, until the red card. Now, obviously sitting directly behind the incident with the Gallagher, we knew that it was elbow to the head, and this was the moment that the referee went over to the VAR decision. So this is us obviously clapping as the referees looking at VAR. He's been told to go and have a little look at it, and obviously this is where you get sent off, and it's bye, and all the fans are starting to wave to Nicholas Jackson as he is sent off. Is a lot of people I've seen already. Well, I say a lot of people. Joe Cole's mentioned that was the key incident, and we'll just take a little bit of a close up of it. I've got a shot here of Nicholas Jackson, and look, he does catch him in the heat. Of course, he does. We knew that inside the stadium. It was more of a case: was it deliberate? Was he out to hurt the defender? Haven't looked at the replay back. Jackson looks at the ball, but then looks at Botman, and then looks at the ball and puts an elbow in there, so he knows where Botman is. And you have to say, now I've looked at it back, I think it's a deserved red card. Initially, I could have speculated to the Cows come home, to be honest with you. But Newcastle's advantage, it's 11 against 10. You're thinking, right, you're 1-0 up. They've got 10 men. Go on and kill that game. Can you get a second sometime later in the game? We didn't manage to get that, obviously, in the last 10 minutes of the first half. And then the halftime whistle came. And I do have the graphic of our lovely fans at halftime. So there was halftime. Still, the referee's getting a bit of stick, even though they're doing the 10 men. But you know what it is. If we're all coming to this game thinking, and right, if I said to you at home, right, we're 1-0 up against 10 men at halftime, you're taking that regardless. And I thought Newcastle were much the better side in that first half. I really do. We merited it. So there you go. That's half time. I wanted to see what you lot are saying in the live chat. Keep an eye on everyone. Les, no, Ian, I'm very loyal. I'm to my story and sticking to it. Ian's gone and said, didn't understand. He literally just elbowed him in the head. And Nigel's gone on to say, when is Eddie Howe's statue going to be built? I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? Sees Ian as well. Yeah. For a 12 o'clock kickoff, it was a brilliant atmosphere at Dylan. I'd agree for the first half, it was 100%. And Ian said, Gary's reply to Ian saying he didn't even look at the ball in terms of the elbow. Look, I've looked it back, and this is the thing that knocks me inside of games, Premier League games, because Newcastle should have a replay of that for people who are in the East Stand and the Gallagher, because we cannot see what if with the replays. Do you know what I mean? And obviously the Leasers get the goals back as well to look at it, and we've got to go downstairs and look at a tiny little screen and if it's live on TV. But yeah, do keep your comments in, and I'll read them back out again when we come up towards the end of the second half. So right, you're 1-0 up at half time. Just go as you please. Just keep going. Play like you did first half and go on and win. But we didn't. I don't know what happened. It's like we had the 10 men and Chelsea had the 11 men. I was thinking what's happening here? Chelsea got all the ball and all this, and they forced Nick Pope into a low save, brilliant save by the way, and then they forced him into a later save where he tips it over the bar as well. That was a fantastic save. So 2 saves, but they didn't really do anything else, really. But Eddie Howe was, after 10 minutes of that second half, was like, nah, we have to change it. So with the wing backs, he took off Sven Botman and he brought on Lewis Miley. And that was just to give the midfield a little bit of protection, because Tonali and Bruno, the huffing and puffing, and you're asking a lot for them to cope with against three. You've got Palmer, you've got who was it, Casido, and I think it was Lavia, if I wasn't mistaken, in midfield. 2 against 3 all game. It's a big ask when you get into the 60th, 70th, 80th minute and so on. So you put him in there to try and stop that, and I didn't think Miley really got it in the game, to be honest with you. But it was a case of, can Newcastle just see it? What, for me, at that stage of the game, getting to the 60th minute, and yes, there was another substitution. Emil Kraft come on for who Murphy went to right wing, didn't he? Emil Kraft came on for Gordon, didn't he? But no, was it Gordon? I can't remember. I really can't remember. But the longer that game went on, I was like, just win it. Just win it. If you've got to park the bus, again, I'll ask you all at home the question again. If I said to you pick up 3 points against Chelsea, we're all taking it. Forget about the performances. Forget about the performance next week against Arsenal. Forget about Everton. As long as we just get the win somewhere, and I think probably 3 points, definitely 4 points, because Chelsea and Forest play against each other last game of the season. We'll get you Champions League football. We'll look at that league table a little bit later. But the goal come really from... In second half, we probably didn't deserve it. We didn't, let's be honest. We weren't really particularly good second half going forward. I think Barnes was off the boil. Gordon was off the boil. Isak's been off the boil for a couple of games. Yes, he scored last week, but I didn't think any of those were brilliant going forward. And obviously, you've had to rely on your two centre midfielders to score. And Bruno Guimaraes did score as well. I haven't got the video capture of this because I was too much in the moment celebrating it. And Bruno got that shot, deflects it, loops over Sanchez into the net, 2-0. He can enjoy the last 5 minutes of stoppage time or whatever it was that was remaining. He puts Newcastle 2-0 up. The game's dead and buried. We've gone on to win 2-0, and it's just pure ecstasy in that Gallagher end. Brilliant. I love that moment. Absolutely class. Newcastle pick up 3 points. Look, did we deserve it? First half, yes. Second half, no. And that was against 10 men, which is a little bit worrying. But you've got to remember that Chelsea are also on a little bit of run of form as well until they played us as well. So we'll take the win. And look, I know Arsenal and Liverpool are playing at the moment, which we'll come to. But this is what Eddie Howe said about his reaction to beating Chelsea today.
First off, we were really, really good. We were very pleased. Sending off changed the game, and with the scoreline as it was, I think it was a tricky second half for us mentally because we wanted to go and attack, and that was the message. But on the pitch, I think it felt different, and Chelsea changed and tweaked things and made it difficult for us tactically. So congratulations to them. But we hung in there, and I think did really well mentally in that second half. I probably enjoyed the first half more than the second. Second half was stressful. We were making changes. Obviously, we started in the way that we did, and we looked really comfortable until the second half. And obviously, they tweaked things. And with the scoreline, they had nothing to lose at that point. But I was pleased with how we defended. I mean, Nick's made 2 magnificent saves for us. You can't forget that, and the part he's played in the win today. But we got over the line, and that's the major thing in a game like today. But that was a real test because they've got very, very good players, and you can see that in the second half. Palmer comes into the game. Casido does very, very well, and but psychologically, I think it's the biggest shift in that second period, and that's where I have to praise the players because we got over the line and we won the game.
We did, as I say, right at the very end, we got it over the line and we won the game. That was important. And he references Nick Pope's 2 saves as well, so he's playing plaudits to the goalkeeper as well. But let's have a look what yous are saying about the second half and the game as well. VAR did its job, says Gary. That's what it's there for. That is what it's there for. And Michael's gone on to say the hospitality must have spiked the free pint. Yeah, there was 3 pints, wasn't there? I didn't get mine. I arrived pretty late, to be honest. I got in the ground. I say it late, about 50 minutes. But I thought, no, I'm not queuing up. Not queuing up. How did Caicedo not get a red card at all? Never mind 2. Yeah, the amount of bookings that, as I say, the game was stopped starting all the time. E-I-E-I-O. Gary's gone on to say, I would have loved to have Big Joe on the pitch. He would have sorted Caicedo and Enzo out. Yeah, how good is Sandro Tonali, says Ian. Yeah, he's fine. I don't think it's his best game, mind, but he'd come up with an important goal, mind. And how did we manage to sign him as well? Maybe the club knew something about because obviously Milan at the time was struggling financially, weren't they? Matt's gone and says solid win today. I think let them dictate the play after half time, but without having many chances. Red card, right decision. Bruno's goal was a relief just to make sure Dan Burn was immense. Yeah, he gave the ball away once or twice, but apart from that, Matt, I agree. Dan Burn is definitely a contender for man of the match. Gary's then asking Ian a question. Ian, the guy who, the world of his feet. Did you see behind the scenes the video of Sandro Tonali? An amazing player, Ian. Even the Italians are saying he's improved at Newcastle. Yeah, they have indeed. And just touch upon that as well. With I don't know if you guys have seen that documentary of Tonali, but it's pretty special. Like, it's half an hour long. It's on YouTube as well, so get yourselves over and have a look at it after this video if you haven't seen it on the clubs. It's just brilliant how he speaks good English. His other half, I think his other half speaks better English. It kind of says that. I don't know how Sandro's picked it up that quick. I've been learning for so many years. But his other half speaks brilliant English. And of course, he's got a Frenchie, and everyone loves a Frenchie. And of course we do. But look, we've got the win. That was the big thing, of course. I just put myself back on screen. That was the big thing. We got 3 points. And of course, Newcastle do march on to the next couple of games left of the season, which will bring up the league table very shortly. But should we talk about players who performed or underperformed? I do think that Harvey Barnes got in some fantastic positions, but let himself down massively today. In terms of if I'm thinking of where I'm thinking of is the final 30s decision making for me. He got in some brilliant positions. I'm like, when he wants to shoot, he passed, and when he was trying to pass, he should have shot. And it was like, oh, his decision making was very frustrating for me today. Isak just wasn't in the game hardly at all today. At all, and he wasn't last week as well, which is, I'm worried, not massively. He's got a good record against Arsenal, so I'm not going to complain about that too much, to be honest with you. Anthony Gordon, yes, he was bright, but yeah, he went down far too easily for me in a few occasions. Stay on your feet. So Murphy got the assist, but he wasn't so far in advance. I just felt like Barnes, Gordon, and Isak were pretty off today. And is it worrying? I don't know. Hopefully not. But no, man of the matches, I think you've got to look at, for me, I think you've got to look at the defence. I thought Livramento was absolutely fantastic. That just touch upon him as well. The reverse pass in that second half, and he plays in. Who did he play in? It was either Gordon or Barnes on the left. Oh, it was brilliant, the reverse pass. It was sensational. It was like any midfielder would be proud of that. And Dan Burn, we've already touched upon in the comments there, he was absolutely brilliant. I thought Botman for the first 55 minutes when he, well, obviously played 55 minutes, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant. You know, he had a challenge as well. He got an elbow at the heat. It was a challenging afternoon for him, and I thought he handled it really well. Obviously, the 2 goal scorers, Tonali and Bruno, I don't think it's the greatest games in the world, but there's a couple of mentions there. And as I said, Nick Pope's save was absolutely fantastic as well. So there's some positives, a little bit of negatives, but the main thing is, look, we won. Who cares? We won 2-0. That's a big, important thing. And I've done this graphic about 15, 20 minutes ago, so if the score has been updated between the top 2, apologies. I don't know if it's still 0-0, but we'll not focus on that at the moment. That win today, obviously Forest could only pick up a point against Leicester, surprisingly. So if Newcastle match Forest result next week, Forest can't catch us regardless. I know we've got a superior goal difference. And similar, really, if we match Villa's result next week, Villa will not be able to catch us because Villa have only got 7 goal difference. So it's almost there. Look, we've got Arsenal away, which league record we're not particularly great at. Yes, we won early on the season in the Cup, and that was a brilliant night. But Liverpool, Arsenal, we could, in theory, again, let us know in the comments what the Arsenal score is, but we could, in theory, if we beat Arsenal next week, we've got second place to play for, which is just mental. That is mental. And I don't think the Premier League has been particular in terms of quality. There's no team running away for, but that's what you want. I see a lot of people saying, oh, the Premier League's not great for quality, but you want a competitive at least. You didn't want people running away on 100 points. Do you know what I mean? You didn't want the second team coming 20 odd points behind it. So you still want a competitive, but I don't think it's been the best Premier League in terms of quality this season. However, that win today is absolutely massive. It's so big, that win. You cannot underestimate. Yes, you can talk about the performances and whatever, but who cares? Just get the 3 points. I would have took an own goal and parked the bus. I really would have today. I'll take that next week. We've just got to get the Champions League. And I said the last 4 games, if we can get 7 points, we'll be there. Now we've picked up 4 from 2. We've got 2 left. I think one more win will probably do it because Forest have got to play Chelsea, as I say. 4 points probably to be safe, but I think we're nearly there. We are nearly there. And in an ideal world, you want to have the last game against Everton for nothing to play for and just enjoy the afternoon, be part of the atmosphere. And also the crowd were absolutely fantastic today as well. In particular, I know that's been mentioned first half. But this is me walking down with the fans. I don't normally get this shot I'm normally obviously filming at this stage, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to walk with the fans in the nice sun there. You can see the fans coming down the steps on the far left as well. Fans will be delighted. Obviously, it's an early kickoff. They'll be celebrating in bars and pubs and restaurants, or going back to work, or enjoying the afternoon. And as I say, it still feels very, very strange sitting here doing the live last word with you at this stage at 5:20. Let's have a look at what you are saying in the comments as well, and then we'll come back to you one more time. So worrying when Tino went down with the right knee, looked nasty. Yeah, had we. Callum's gone to say, I thought Botman wouldn't be sharp. He played like he was never injured. Yeah, brilliant. 2-0 Liverpool. That's great news. That is great news. That's music to my ears. That means we can finish potentially second. So Arsenal have still got something to play for. And Matt's gone on to say the main thing got the win today before the Brighton game was saying 7 points will get us Champions League. And we've got that cushion safety net. Arsenal are very fragile at the moment. It'd be nice to see Usula get a chance. Mark, I'm going to disagree with you until we've got Champions League football and start him last game of the season if we're there. There's his chance. Let's go out and beat Arsenal next week, please. 7 points would mean every result would have to go against us. Yes, I would totally agree, Ian, as well. But look, we've got the 3 points. That's what matters. I am introducing something quite new to these live streams. We're also going to have a look at what the journalists are saying as well. So I've picked 3 from random. What the journalists have said about today's win, and let's pull it up. We have Craig Hope coming up first. Newcastle are now just 3 points from a Champions League place because of the goal difference. I kind of touched upon that before. If we match Villa's result next week and Forest don't win, we're practically there. Made hard work of it. Second half, Pope, in brackets, made 2 huge saves, but longer it went on, the more they dug in. St. James's ignite on full time, and very nervy. The crowd turned up today. Brilliant. So nice analyst from Craig. Chris Waff from The Athletic goes on to say Newcastle's big game stats. Another huge step towards Champions League qualification. He's loving the emojis, Chris, isn't he? Jackson, brainless red card. Howe's selection gambles pays off again. And Roche's St. James's Park atmosphere. Yeah, I do agree. First half, brilliant. Towards the end of the second half, brilliant as well. But yeah, Luke Edwards has gone out and say huge win for Newcastle United in the race for Champions League. A difficult second half in which they didn't know whether to stick or twist against 10 men and leading 1-0. But they got the job done in the end with a patched up side missing key players. What a job Eddie Howe has done. I totally agree on that. We're nearly there, everyone. We're nearly there. Get your passport suit. Where does fancy going? Where does fancy Italy, Germany, Spain? Yeah, I didn't mind that at all. I'd much rather go to those places than some Latvias and Estonias in the Conference League, put it that way. But we are going to come back to the live chat one more time. I do want to give a special mention to War Flags because that display today was absolutely incredible. And here is some of the... Look at this, man. Oh, just class. For any user who listen on the audio, get yourselves onto a video. Huge surfer flag, black and white flags, loads of mini flags in the Gallagher with a banner. I haven't even seen the banner back, to be honest with you, because I literally got home, as I say, and started putting this stream together. So there you go. Absolutely incredible by War Flags. Great to see, and hopefully they've got something lined up for the last game of the season. Against Everton at home, which obviously will be a lap appreciation where all the players bring on the families and friends, and let's just hope that afternoon, I'm pretty confident now that afternoon will be a day of celebrations. We can torch that Jordan Pickford just once or twice during that game. That'll be lovely stuff. But drop us a massive like if you like this live version. Give us some feedback as well. If you're watching the rerun of it, again, give us some feedback as well. What we'll plan to do is open it up and then have 2 or 3 guests live with us as well, and members of the rest of the other NFTV lads, of course, as well. But we'll go back to live chat before we wrap up on today's video. Jay's going to say... Bunce surely wouldn't place Isak if he had a groin injury 10 games. What is going on with Isak, though? He's out with form a little bit, isn't he? But don't put it past him to score next week, mind. Gary's got to say, I believe we'll see the best of Isak at the Emirates. Yes, Gary, yes. El Capo's gone to say, Tonali will be captain of the Zuri next World Cup. Someone laughed at me when they said they wouldn't qualify. I replied, ha ha ha. They'll win it and Tonali will lift the heaviest trophy on the planet. Hey, that's a big call, mind, Italy win the World Cup, but They've got a good, Barella and Tonali. It's not a bad centre midfield pair, that is it. Matt's gone out and say, yeah, I agree with the middle journalist. A lot of credit has to go to how tactically set up well during the game and to make right tweaks. So fair play to the coach and team as well. And no plan B, says Ian. Really? We've got the win, man, Ian. Cheer up, man. Who cares? We've got 3 points. That's all that matters, everyone. That's all that matters. We'll get the 3 points today. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that live last word. And there took us a while to edit all this together. Stay tuned. We do have Scoring the Players coming up a little bit later. That's back outside St. James's Park and over on NFTV Extra. I've got the vlog that I've created as well. So go and subscribe to that channel. Help us push that to 3K. That'll be lovely. But yeah, love yous and leavers, everyone. Drop us a massive like on this video and 5 stars if you listen on the audio. Take care. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.